Let's make some noise. Come on.
Thank you, Nick Foles. Thank you very much. Let's make some noise indeed. Welcome one and all to another established episode of the Final Word with MattyB here on the It's Rap Sports Network. Our first episode of our brand new week. Yeah, man, we're back. We're back. Made it through another weekend. I hope you are doing well on this Sunday night. We're here to talk. We're here to get things off our chest. We're here to look forward to which will be, well, technically speaking, we have already passed the point of no return when it comes to having baseball on every weekend. And we actually hit that mark 2 weeks ago when there was live baseball on, and there's been baseball on every weekend since then. This weekend, wrapping up a huge weekend in Division I college baseball opening weekend around the country. There was 135 games on Friday, 162 games on yesterday. I don't know how many were on today, but for those of you that just could not take it anymore, no baseball, we need it. Division I has arrived, and we've had no upsets. I watched LSU handle very handily the University of Milwaukee over the weekend, which that'd be the first, last, and only time I ever watched the University of Milwaukee play baseball. But the number 2 ranked LSU Tigers, defending national champions, came out guns a-blazing for the season. Some terrible baseball, actually, across the board. There's not really been too many games to write home about, and there won't be at this stage of the season. It's all out of conference. It's all, first games of the year. There is no spring training for these guys, or there's no, I shouldn't say spring training. There's a training. Actually, it's all year round, but there's no preseason for these guys. They come right out the gate, firing on all cylinders. So you'll expect some of this early on, but not jaw-dropping baseball. There was a game, I believe, on Friday where a kid in his first game, I don't know if he was a transfer or if he was a freshman, hit not 1, not 2, but 3 grand slams in the same game. Absolutely incredible. 12 RBIs in his first game with that team, and 3 grand slams. First time it's ever been done, I believe, in NCAA history. So that was probably the biggest noteworthy note coming out of opening weekend in the college world, or the Division I world. But hey, listen, it's baseball, and I'll take it. And we've hit another plateau, and that means the next plateau we're going to hit is this coming weekend when Major League Baseball returns. Friday, check your local listings in your area, is when spring training baseball will start. And Saturday is when the Phillies will begin against the Toronto Blue Jays. And I think we talked, we did talk about Nick Castellanos' release on Thursday. We haven't discussed what has happened since. We went into the Miami incident, the letter and all that, but we haven't talked, of course. Castellanos signing for the league minimum with the San Diego Padres, spoke for the first time as a Padre today. Really arrogant and smug. I know one of the overarching things that people were hoping that Castellanos took while he left Philadelphia was humility. Didn't sound like it today when he was addressing the San Diego Padre media for the first time. He sounded as arrogant as ever as he was addressing base. Even when he's trying to sound like selfless by saying, I'll do whatever they want me to do, he still came off arrogant, if you ask me. So Nick Castellanos is now a Padre. Some footage of him trying to learn how to play first base leaked onto the internet. I'm sorry. It was very funny to watch this man try to bend over and look athletic in the process and play first base. I don't know how that's going to work out for San Diego, as they're going to teach this guy how to play first on the fly. He did break in a long time ago as a third baseman, but that was many, many moons ago. And now they're going to try to convert him to a first baseman. I don't know if that's going to work out, or if that's going to be more of almost a situation like he had in Philadelphia, where he'll play the first 7 innings as a first baseman, then come out in the 8th inning as a defensive replacement. Or is he just going to really spend a lot of time as their DH? So We'll wait and see how all that works out for Nick Castellanos in San Diego. And, of course, more of the backlash of the Castellanos situation is on the table tonight, as well as, the Casti drama's over. Bryce Harper, he's going to fill that void as soon as he can. As he came in today, gave about a 14-minute presser where he addressed the Dave Dombrowski, he did not play elite comments. You knew you're going to have to, we had to wait 4 months, but we knew we were going to get to this day where we would have to address that. We'll discuss that as well tonight. As Bryce Harper said, you know what? You missed Nick Castellanos. You missed the drama there. Don't worry about it. Here I am. We're going to talk about not being elite. So that's in the news. Eagles, the propositions of now trades Max Crosby, and I don't want to hear that Max Crosby nonsense. I proposed a Max Crosby trade months ago, back on around New Year's. I want to trade A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts for Max Crosby, Brock Bowers, and the Raiders' first-round pick this year. That was my trade for Bowers or for Crosby a long time ago. But anyway, that's in the news. If you guys want to address that, we can. The USA Hockey, full swing. We talked on Thursday when they had played one game. They have now played 3. Now 3-0 on their way to the quarters. On Tuesday, which is one step closer to the gold, they've won their pool. So they'll face the lowest seed that's left in their pool for the divisional final and quarterfinals of the medal round situation. So we're now into that phase of the Olympics with hockey where it's one and done. And all systems go right now for a collision course between USA and Canada for the gold medal, as it should be. 2 best programs in that sport right now. Looking pretty unstoppable in the process over the weekend. Today, I guess the most steepest competition that they were going to face up to this point was Germany and Draisaitl and Schnitzel. It didn't matter. They skated past Germany. It's when you watch. Listen, when you watch, I don't know if you guys have sat back and watched, but I've watched a lot. That's the way hockey is supposed to be played, the way Team USA is doing it with players like with the Kachuk brothers, the Hughes brothers, Austin Matthews. I mean, they come at you wave after wave after wave. That is the benefit of having elite players playing for your team. Now, it's a lot to ask for all of them to play for the same team, but you get that in the USA situation. But I just want one of them, one of any of the members of Team USA. I'm not even going to get specific about it. Just one of those players to play for the Flyers. That's how devoid we are in this town of elite hockey talent. We have none of those players playing for the Flyers right now. Not a one. Not that level. And when you're watching the way these guys not only don't hesitate with the puck, which the Flyers do all the time, but they're throwing the puck into spots where there's no player yet. But the player knows that's where the puck's going to be, so he goes there. It's funny how that works out, right? You got situations with this team where they know you don't chase pucks behind the net and leave open men in front of your net. They know that. They know that a millisecond of hesitation is the difference between life and death at the elite hockey level. And to be able to see all that. And you know who I feel the best for right now for Team USA and USA Hockey? It's friggin' John Tortorella, one of the assistant coaches of Team USA. He gets a front row seat after what he endured in 2 years with the Flyers. Or was it 3 years? 3 years, I guess, with the Flyers. He gets a front row seat of what good hockey looks like finally. So congratulations, John Tortorella. And yes, he will be part of that gold medal quest. If they go ahead and win the gold, John Tortorella gets a gold medal. But it's so great to see it. The goaltending's been spot on, except for the one goal yesterday from the outside the blue line. Got to have that back. But Team USA has been everything advertised, and so has Team Canada. And obviously, that is going to be the main event, hopefully, for Olympic gold later this week. So USA Hockey hockey in general, and the Olympics as well are on the table tonight. So we can get into a bunch of stuff. You guys, it's your dime. So well, let's get into it. Barbara, how you doing? Hey, hon, I'll try to make it around 10. I missed the show, Barbara. I hope you are here. Adam checks in. Adam, how you doing? Good evening. MattyB, good evening, Adam. How are you? Adam says he's been watching a lot of Phantoms hockey this past month. Yeah. Listen, I haven't been watching much. I ain't gonna lie. I typically do. I haven't really done as much this year as matter of fact, I don't think I've watched really any. But I'm keeping an eye on what's happening in the box scores, right? And of course, that is the wellspring, right? That's the lifeblood. And there's certain players down there that you got to really start keeping an eye on. Oliver Bonk, Ty McGinn, Carson Bjornsson. There's a couple other players down there that you got to start keeping your eye on. That's where the next level's coming. But I've been spoiled these last 3 nights watching Team USA play. And I almost feel like wrong watching this type of hockey because I'm like, wow, this is as good as it can be. This is the hockey that I remember a long time ago, the Flyers playing. And it's good to see that it still exists somewhere in the world. And it's great to see that it exists with Team USA. What is my opinion about the Bryce? We're going to get into that in a minute there, Adam. And Michael Papernick says, will the phone lines open? They will. I'll get them open up here in a second. But let's get into what we got to get into. We also have your day in Philadelphia sports history, your card of the night, your card review, and your of the night segment. All that wrapped in a tight little bun on this Sunday night here in late February. I guess it's official to say. Well, not mid-February, I guess. Valentine's Day weekend. Back end of Valentine's Day weekend. Tomorrow's President's Day. Did you guys have a good Valentine's Day? Didn't you? Does anybody care about Valentine's Day? Is it effeminate to say men should care about Valentine's Day? Is it also acceptable that men shouldn't receive gifts on Valentine's Day? I want your take on that because there's a certain group of people out there that feel this is a ladies' holiday or a partner's holiday, whatever. I don't know the political term for it, but a women's holiday. Is it inappropriate for men to receive Valentine's Day gifts? I don't think it is. I didn't get anything. But, what do you guys think? We can talk that if you like. I don't really want to waste my time with that, but we can talk that if you like. And also tomorrow's President's Day. So tomorrow being a holiday as well. So let's get it rolling tonight with your day in Philadelphia sports history. But first, let's remind everybody what's happening on the network this week. We are into our straight up winter programming. This is it. This is pretty much it until the end of March. I ain't going to lie to you. I don't see much change from this schedule until the end of March, with the exception of bringing back Clear the Ice at the end of the month. But this is about what it's going to be until we get ready for baseball. And unfortunately, I hate to say it, we are in the doldrums right now. We are in the dog days of winter. And we just got to get there. We got to get a little bit more. Just a little bit more. But we're getting there, man. As I said, baseball will start in force next weekend. But this is what you got for this week. Tomorrow night, you'll have the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program in me. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the Philly Friday Frenzy. And then Saturday, the best of the week of It's a Wrap Sports. And then Sunday, we do it all over again on the network. So there you have it. There's our schedule for the week. Like it or lump it. And let's get into your day in Philadelphia sports history. Let's strap in, strap on, strap up. Keep your head, hands, and feet inside the car at all times. And here we go. On this day in 1916, and no, again, this is not eyewitness testimony. I was not there chiseling it into the stone when I saw it. This was not by me, all right? I'm reporting what somebody else reported. But on this day in 1916, sound familiar? The New York Yankees purchased the league's top home run hitter on this date after the player was stuck in a nasty contract dispute with his former team. Famously, this is what happened. In 1990, when the Yanks acquired the great Babe Ruth from the Boston Red Sox. But the poor man's version actually occurred 3 years earlier with Frank Home Run Baker. So on this day, Frank Home Run Baker was purchased by the Yankees. Philadelphia A's owner Connie Mack, always the shrewd negotiator, sold the American League's 4-time home run champ to New York after Baker sat out the previous season over a payment discrepancy. I mean, that's how. This is what we're doing here. This is what we're doing. We're relegated to this stuff. So on this day in 1916, the Yankees purchased the league's top home run here. It was not Babe Ruth, not yet, at least. It was Frank Home Run Baker. It was purchased by the Yankees from the Philadelphia A's by Connie Mack. And there you have it. We go to the back of the history books when we have to. That's the only thing I could find that happened today in Philadelphia sports history. So I hope you enjoyed that one. And it was brought to you by the good folks over at the Philly AM Sports Show every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Al and Mike do a great job giving you their brand of Philadelphia sports, kind of wrapping you up and then starting you out all at the same time. So remember, Sunday mornings, 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, Philly AM Sports. All right. Here we go. Let's get back to it. Let's go to Adam's question. I guess we can lead off with the Bryce Harper thing. It's funny that today, I mean, we're still technically 4 days away, or we're 1 day away. Tomorrow is officially when full team workouts will begin, but it's fool's paradise to believe that these teams have not been already down there in their facilities, everybody, and they've been doing some sort of workouts. But tomorrow it becomes official. Everybody has to be in camp, and they'll start full squad workouts tomorrow. So the pitchers and catchers, their little segregated, isolated little time is ended, and now we get into full team workouts tomorrow. But again, we all know that people have been in camp for weeks, and things are starting to sort of sound like summer. We're starting to get our first interviews coming out of these spring training camps sites. Nick Castellanos spoke today as a Padre, looking like spicy brown mustard in those colors. I mean, here's the thing about the Padre colors. God awful. But for some odd reason, it works as a uniform. I hear me out. Brown and gold, or brown and yellow. I don't know what you would call that yellow. Is it gold? But that brown and that yellow, it is a mustardy look to it. And it doesn't really look well, but it works for some odd reason at the same time as a uniform. The 80s Padres road uniforms are some of my favorite in the history of all of baseball. And I actually own an 80s Padres Greg Nettles jersey. I actually own one, complete with the RAK on the sleeve, man. So I'm a big fan of it, but it just doesn't look good. I guess it doesn't look good when you put when you start adding to it. They're wearing a yellow hat this spring, which does not work with that at all. If you're going to wear a hat with those colors, you got to wear it. It's got to be a darker hat. It can't get washed out in that. You got to offset it somehow. But whatever. This is not a discussion about the Padres uniform choices. But Castellanos, looking like a big old tube of brown spicy mustard, gave his first presser as a Padre. And on the other side of the country, in Clearwater, our next diva, our next drama problem was given his 14-minute press conference as Bryce Harper addressed the media and was asked, pointedly and appropriately about the comments made by his president of baseball operations. And Bryce said, I listened to it. Bryce did admit that he did not have a good season. Big of him to say that, whatever. But he also then called out his president by saying, when I first met him, essentially he said that don't worry about everything that we talk about. Basically, stays in house, and I believe he uses the term "wild" as the appropriate phrase there. And of course, as I'm thinking about it, I can see both sides. I can tell you that as a leader of men, there is a time and a place for every comment to be made. I know one of the things that we're having a problem with Dombrowski these days is his seemingly out of touchness about what the situation is with the Phillies. I don't think Dave Dombrowski's out of touch. I think he knows very well what he needs to do as the Phillies president and essentially GM. I mean, I don't think Preston Mattingly has much authority over making trades, but I think Dave Dombrowski knows exactly what has to be done. And I honestly think Dave Dombrowski's hands are being tied in some way. And I don't subscribe, nor I ever will subscribe to the notion that, like with Kevin Patullo, I'm not going to sit here and say Kevin Patullo was on the sidelines twisting his handlebar mustache saying, let's run it up the middle again. I know it doesn't work, but I want them to fail. I'm not subscribing to that. There was reasons why the Eagle offense struggled in 2025 as much as they did, and they weren't all Kevin Patullo. Just like there's reasons why Dave Dombrowski cannot essentially do what he wants to do with this roster right now, and it's because of the goddamn money that's invested. We're not stupid people, right? We understand that. But I think when Dave made that statement at the end of the year last year, coming off that Dodger series, coming off of yet another failed attempt at World Series glory, I think he's starting to show some frustration. And I think that comment was made out of frustration, right? And was it appropriate? Yeah, listen, if it was me, I was the player, you know what I would take that as? But this is me from my generation, an open challenge to be better. I wouldn't take it any other way. I wouldn't take it as defamed. He hurt my feelings. No, he's calling me out on something I did wrong, and he's right. I need to be better. That would be the end of the thought process for me. But that's me, and I'm not from Bryce Harper's generation. I'm not from this generation. Okay? But there is a place for everything. And again, I think Dombrowski's statement back in October was made out of frustration. So today, Bryce Harper fired back kind of out both sides of his mouth, saying it was wild that he said those things about him, but he did acknowledge that he has to be better. And to answer the question, my opinion about the whole situation is it happened. It happened, and now we got to move past it. Because the last thing that needs to go down with this team, because we just came out of a winter of drama with this Castellanos nightmare, and now we don't need to go down this road. We need to stop that, stomp it in the bud, and we need to just concentrate on playing baseball. Was Dombrowski right about saying what he said? No. Was he completely off the res by saying it? No, he wasn't. Is Bryce Harper processing and handling it the right way? I don't know. Maybe for his generation he is, I guess. Now, they did press him on the whole not elite shirt thing after he said, I don't use anything like that as motivation, but yet he's standing there wearing a not elite t-shirt. And that was open-ended. That was a weak response. He said, well, they make the t-shirts, I wear them. Come on, man. Dude, if you're gonna walk the walk, dude, talk the talk. You know what I'm saying? Let's not do that. Let's not play stupid. Like, oh, I wore the shirt. Not elite. That was a little pandery. And of course, that's what Bryce Harper specializes in. So that part of it was pretty bad. I ain't gonna lie to you. For him saying, I don't know. They make the shirts for me and I wear them. Come on, man. If you want to walk it, talk it. That's fine. We can go down that road, but don't. That's treating us like we're idiots, like we're stupid, and we don't understand. Of course we do. But I'm tired of the drama, man. I'm tired of Dave Dombrowski, who's gone through the ringer this offseason. And again, I am not sitting here justifying Dave Dombrowski's action. Dave has probably got to be, if you look at all the executives / coaches currently in the city of Philadelphia, and I even put him above Sirianni, his seat's got to be the hottest of anybody's in this town right now, because he is under so much pressure to win. And then, of course, he had another off season of type moves, and But as far as to answer your question, Adam, I don't know, man. Most of it, I thought it was done well, except when he got into the elite t-shirt nonsense or not elite t-shirt nonsense. That's when I thought he lost me there. Of course, he knew what he was doing. Of course, he was using it as motivation. And again, I would have more respect for him if he said, yeah, damn right I was wearing that for motivation. You're damn right I was wearing that to shove it up his ass. He wants to fire, I'll fire back. I'd have more respect for Harper if he did that than treat us like we're idiots and be like, I don't know, man. They make me wear the shirts. I wear the shirts. So I don't know if that answers your question, but yes, that's how I thought about it. The phone lines will open in a minute. I promise. Joe Hale says, hey, everybody. Joe, what's going on? Dave Yarnell checking in. MattyB, what's going on? Dave, not much. How are you tonight? You think Dave sticks around after this year, or do you think Harper went out of the Phillies? Harper, here's the deal. Harper's got a no-trade clause. So Harper can demand to go out anytime. Just like the Phillies can't willy-nilly trade him, Harper can't demand to be out either. I mean, he signed the contract. But if the thing goes off the rails, and I mean completely off the rails, because the other part of that presser that I got from Harper was I didn't get the buy-in. And, of course, he mentioned something about the Dodgers. And that question was asked to a bunch of people today around Major League Baseball, asked to whether or not they were getting pissed off about the way the Dodgers were doing business. And I'm glad most of the people that all the interviews I heard said, no, I envy them for doing it. Good for them. And that's how I think about it too. Good for the Dodgers. That's a team who wants to win. And that's how you do it in 2026. And they're doing it. But as far as Bryce Harper, there was a sense in that presser I got of not dread, but like, I don't know if we're ready. Like, I don't know if we are good enough to compete with the Dodgers. There was that. I did get that from him. And again, not inspired at all by the moves that were made this offseason. He did, say how excited he was to play with the younger players, which is great, which is what I wanted. But, I did get that little I did get some doom and gloom from him when asked that question. So as far as if, say, things are status quo and they win 90-95 games, they make the playoffs to get knocked out in the first round, I don't think Dombrowski goes. I don't think Harper goes. I think Thompson will go. If it goes off the rails early, they fire Thompson in season. If Mattingly can salvage the season and they get to the playoffs, maybe win a round, maybe make a run, fall short of the World Series, I think everyone's safe and they hire Don Mattingly on full time. If things go off the rails, they fire Thompson and nothing gets better and things completely go off the rails, everybody's out. They'll probably fire Dombrowski or he'll retire. They'll fire Mattingly. They'll get rid of the entire coaching staff, and they will look to make wholesale changes with the new president and the new manager. And then all cards are on the table at that point. And then, of course, on top of a CBA problem that we're going to have, will make for a sticky-ass offseason next year. So that's the answer to that question. I think there's one of three things that could happen there. Are the phone lines? Yes, they are, Joe. I didn't like Rob Thompson's comments about the lineup. I didn't see Rob Thompson's comments about the lineup. So maybe you can fill me in when I open the phone lines up. I didn't see that. I just heard Bryce Harper talk, honestly. But all right, let's get the phone lines going. You can chime in whenever you want, as you guys know the drill. Click the link. It'll take you backstage. And I'll put you on. And you guys can enjoy the conversation with me, as it should be hitting into your chat rooms now. So Castellanos, he also spoke, and he said the same thing. Avoided a lot of the pitfall questions by giving you the standard, I just want to be here to help. But even in all that, in that humility that he was attempting to sound, he still sounded arrogant and cocky. Manny Machado, also, with a lifelong relationship with Castellanos, is all excited that he's there. Listen, there's a victory lap to be done right now by the San Diego Padres and Nick Castellanos. So there's no getting around that. They just got one over on the Phillies. They got a $20 million player for $780,000. You know what I mean? It's pathetic is what happened. But they took their victory lap, and that's fine. But Castellanos sounded arrogant, sounded cocky as ever. And then I watched some very awkward video of him trying to learn how to play first base, which should be an interesting sell for you Padre fans next year. I don't know. They're going to try it, but I don't know if it'll work. But yeah, so it was good to see. Francisco Lindor spoke today to the Mets media. Zach Gallen, freshly returning to the Arizona Diamondbacks, he talked. It was great to see all that happening today, as tomorrow, as I mentioned, will be the first day of full workouts of everything, not just pitchers and catchers, but all position players as well. Team workouts. And then Friday, for select teams, spring training will begin, and Saturday the Phillies will start against the Blue Jays. So we've reached yet another plateau in our offseason. All right, let's transition to the phones. Joe Hale will lead us off tonight. Joe, what's up?
How are you?
Good, man. How are you? How was your weekend?
It was good. At least you're feeling better.
Oh, I am 100% better. Thank you.
And Al opened up the phone lines, and he's going to keep doing it because besides me and Mike, someone else called in that Al knew.
Really?
Yes, one of his friends that from the past.
Well, that's good. Good.
I want to talk about Rob Thompson. So he was asked, and this is by John Clark. He was asked about the lineup, and the buffoon said that Schwarber is going to be batting first.
And he said that for real?
Yes.
Now, did he say that in the spring, or did he say that in the season?
He said that in the spring. He's going to try different lineups out.
Yeah. And I would not expect him not to do that.
I would like to bet Garcia third. Because in Citizens Bank Park, he can hit. In Texas, he hit. He's coming in jacked.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, he looks pretty built.
They all came in last night. Well, he came in last night.
You're working down at the hotel there, Joe, making sure they all got the rooms.
No, my buddy went down for the week to watch spring training.
Is this the week you should go down, though? Shouldn't you wait till the games start?
No, this is the week.
Really? I would think when the games start.
No, this is the week because they were signing autographs after. They were out.
For that, yeah. But listen, now my theory would be when the games begin, especially in the Clearwater, Tampa area, you've got like 7 different places you can go and watch a baseball game. You know what I mean?
You want to meet the players, though. You see what I'm saying?
Well, I'm sure you have an opportunity. Maybe not as full access as you might have now, but I'm sure you have some access to them during the games as well.
Yeah, because and Charlie Manuel is your hitting coach for spring training.
Yeah, Larry Bowe is going to be in the dugout again. Yeah,
but not use the dugout, but for spring training.
Yeah. Now I listen as far as batting Schwarber leadoff, and as far as the lineup, and that is the unicorn, right? That's the one thing that I know there's that last bench spot that's open for grabs, and yes, does Crawford actually have to win the job in center field? I don't think anybody actually. I think Crawford has to lose the job in center field. Honestly, he doesn't have to win, and he has to lose it. Painter, there's those options, but I think the most contested thing everyone's going to look at is what that lineup would look like coming out of spring training, and are we actually going to have to endure at least the start of the season with Alec Bohm batting fourth? That, I think, is the biggest question on the minds of every Phillies fan heading into spring training. And it's a great question because they got to find something better. If you got to bat Garcia fourth, if you got to listen, there's nothing. I don't know why they make this so hard. Schwarber needs to bat fourth. I don't know why I get the lefty thing with Harper and Schwarber, but really, does anybody care anymore?
No.
These are elite athletes. I hate that we lean on that old school fundamental, but yet I hear this new school crap all the time about exit velocity and launch angle, but yet we're going to lean on the lefty righty thing. What is it, man? It's either one or the other. So it's got to be, in my opinion, Turner, Bohm, Harper, Schwarber, Real Muto, Garcia, Marsh, Stott, Crawford. That's the lineup.
I like that lineup, but
yes,
I can see next year Crawford batting first.
That's I think the hopes. Yeah, absolutely. That's the hopes is to move Turner down to 2 and put Crawford at 1. Yes.
Okay. I want to talk Olympics and the USA. They look impressive.
Look
I
very
can
good.
see them facing Team Canada. Well, did they face each other in the finals?
So if
Or
you
did-
look at the way the bracket is for the quarterfinals and then the semis and then the finals, the only way Team USA will see Team Canada will be in the gold medal game.
That's going to happen.
Yeah, I hope so. Everyone's banking on it. The Olympics are banking on it. TV's banking on it. Everyone's banking on that because that's the one everyone wants to see.
And then they don't play tomorrow, I don't think.
No, they play Tuesday.
But the women play tomorrow.
Tomorrow's the women's semis.
Yes. You know what's a weird time? 10:40 in the morning here.
It's in Italy, man. That's what happens. I mean, they had Chechnya and Canada was playing hockey this morning at 6:30.
Yeah, men's hockey. I've seen that.
Yeah.
And I want to praise VJ for winning NBA Friday rookie of the year thing. Well,
Yeah, what was that a game or was that a contest?
That was a game.
It was like the futures game, right?
And he won MVP.
Yeah, I heard that. It is good for him. Good for him.
And I agree with Mike and Big Al said today.
What was that?
AJ Brown's gonna come back. More than likely now.
Well, this week we're going to continue our top storylines by position group with the Eagles, and we're going to talk wide receivers this week. And it's interesting that you bring that up. And I know the Max Crosby trade thing is the big thing that now everyone's projecting about what would take. Of course, I had the big one with sending Jalen and AJ to the Raiders for Bowers, Crosby, and the Raiders' first overall pick.
I think the Raiders will do that, but
I think they would. I think they'd do it in a heartbeat, and then the Eagles should pounce on it anyway. But it's interesting you bring up AJ Brown, and I think it really boils down to: are they going to be able to be as good with him or without him, and what kind of return they're going to get? I think the problem is with the June 1st thing. If he gets traded before June 1st, doesn't that full cap hit the Eagles this year? But that would nullify a trade at draft night, right? I mean, I don't know how they navigate that. Is how they just suck the money up and just say whatever. Because if they're going to move off of AJ, they got to pivot in the draft and take a wide receiver or go out and sign a wide receiver.
But if they're going to sign Dobbs.
But Dobbs is not a number one. Dobbs is like a 2B. Like he's better than Dotson, but not as good as Devontae Smith.
And then I brought up another name that the Eagles should go sign in free agency if they have the room. What is it? Henderson from the Cincinnati Bengals that'll help Jalen Carter out.
Yeah, that's right. He is a free agent. Yeah,
because he'll take less money to be on a winner, and he said that when he started this beginning of the season.
Yeah, it's such early in the offseason. I mean, they can't get past the coaching drama yet, and we haven't even talked about players yet. It's going to be funny what direction they go to. Maybe it's not financially feasible to move off of AJ this year. Maybe this year is too important in terms of saving Sirianni's job in order to move off of AJ Brown. Maybe they suck it up for one more year and we talk about moving off of AJ if things don't go well this year. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Maybe they're kind of looking at it like that too. I don't know.
I got you.
But all right, man. See you tomorrow.
Yep.
All right, Joe Hale. See ya. Oh man, Joe Hale. Bringing some fire tonight. How many times did Topper keep the same lineup last year? Not too many. No, not too many at all. I was keeping that actually a stat, not necessarily 1 through 9. I wasn't looking that deep at it. But for like the first 60 games, almost, I guess, first quarter of the season or so, I was looking at how many times they went with the same leadoff guy. And that was less than 10. That was less than 10 times that he went with the same leadoff guy. So, yes, in theory, that meant that the lineup was changing every day. No, and it's one of the frustrating parts about Rob Thompson. And again, I don't want to hear this new baseball nonsense. It's not that there's some things about the game that can be changed. Oh, and by the way, about the change aspect, MLB announced today that with the adoption of ABS, that is coming, right? The automatic balls and strike system. No more. The stupid box will be gone from all television graphics. Alle friggin' Luya. No more of that nonsensical box that plagued my life in existence for the past 10 years. Of that bullcrap, made up, network created strike zone box that ruined baseball for lots of people is now gone because of ABS. Thank you. That's one positive towards the ABS adoption. Other than that, I'm not really whatever ABS. But listen, if that's what it took to get rid of that box, it's already a plus in my book. There you go. So I just wanted to bring that up. But getting back to your point, I just would like for them to keep there's no sense in constantly tweaking and moving in people in and out of your lineup. I mean, it's worked for 200, 300 years. Maybe not that long. I don't know how long with baseball. Phillies, what, 140, 75 years, whatever they're coming up on. It's okay to have a permanent 1 through 8. Now, again, I'm talking, old school National League pitchers batting 1 through 8, and then your pitcher. And I guess technically, even then, the lineup changed every day, technically, right? But no, I've never seen a manager, tweak, change, manipulate, maneuver lineups as much as I've seen Rob Thomson. And that does, I think, hurt this team and hurts the players trying to figure out where exactly they fit in the batting lineup. I 100% agree with that. I'm not saying, you set a lineup on day one and say, okay, come hell or high water, we're running this thing through day 162. I'm not saying that. But let it play out for a while. Let's get people comfortable and then make adjustments if we have to by like June, right? If we have to. There's no reason to constantly change the goddamn batting order. Because I think it hurts the players, man. I really do. But no, to answer your question, it wasn't many. It was on all day today. It was on all day yesterday. It was on all day Friday. It's on all day tomorrow. It is here. It is here. Michael Papernick is also here. What's up, Papernick?
Well, I'm just confused on why you didn't put out there that the only people that changed around the lineup are everybody but Schwarber and Harper. They got to stay where they're at. That's Robbie's world. Now,
well, Schwarber went from 1 to 2 to 4. He moved around.
Well, yeah. And in the article, he said he'd rather bat number 1 or 2, whatever it was at the time. And he's like, he was like, but I'll bat 4 if they want. Yeah, ride the fence, Kyle. That's good. That's what I want you to do. Now, before we get started, look, anything I express on this website is not of the views of the It's a Rap Sports Network, because I'm a little good tonight, Matty. So
you enjoy yourself, Papernick. I'll dump you if it gets too much.
I got off tomorrow, so that's why. And I normally don't do this, but now, what are we talking about tonight? Because I haven't been listening. And
Castellanos Sapadre, what do you think about it, Papernick?
He don't care. He's going to make $20 million from the Phillies, and how much is he making from them? Probably about 2.5.
780,000.
Yeah, well, he don't care. He's laughing all over the bank. For whatever he did. Me and my buddy went back and forth this today. I'm glad you brought that up. I get the beer thing, and whatever he did, he did. But you know what? And I said this. He's the only guy that's called and Strom that have called out management, and both are not with the Phillies anymore. That's kind of like,
Now, hang on. Harper, did you hear Harper's comments today?
No. What did Harper say? He actually grew a set?
He said, well, no. No.
No.
Right. When asked about Dave Dombrowski's comments about him not having an elite season, Harper said, basically, he's right. I did not have an elite. I did not have a good season. But when I first got here and I first met him, he told me that all this stuff would be in-house, that nothing would go out, nothing would be put out in the public media. And I don't use any of this as motivation. I think those comments were pretty wild that he said. And then when he was asked further about the T-shirt, not elite, if you don't use it as motivation, then why were you wearing a not elite T-shirt? He said, well, I don't know. They make the T-shirts and I just wear them. So Harper started out pretty good, but then he lost me right there at the end with that nonsense. But technically, you can perceive what Harper said today is calling out Dave Dombrowski. So we'll see where that leads, right?
2 years he's gone. I've been saying this 2 years. I'm telling you, that the Phillies was at. I know it gets 162 games this year. Blah 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 blah. But they're a third place team. Well, they might be second place because the Mets got injuries already. But whatever. I mean, the Braves ain't gonna lose for 3 years in a row and be injured like this. I mean, anybody that's got look, anybody's got half a brain cell can figure that one out. It ain't gonna happen. No. Now, Harper talk about Dombrowski. That's great. This is what, and everybody thought Castellanos was the distraction. I didn't hear one word about Castellanos ask about getting paid more money in the last 2 years. Every year I heard it, except this year.
And literally, Castellanos is not even out of town a couple of days, and we transition right to Harper and this drama. So we get rid of one and we go right into the other. I mean, it's got to stop, man. We got to concentrate on baseball at some point this spring.
See, when Harper said that, I would have shot back. Well, Harper, what was your last 100 RBI season? That's all I want to know. I mean, you can make all this money, What was that, 7 years ago? Okay,
now,
just trying to say.
He did say he did not have a career season. He did not have a season that he
wait, a career season. He's only had 100-yard season since 2001. Yeah, 2019 is a Philly. There is not. What is his career season? He's 5 years behind.
Yeah. Good point.
I mean, this guy's. I'm telling you, this is going to get good. Everybody, like Tio said, get your popcorn out, baby. It's going to be great. This is going to be great. I mean, you got the bubbling fool running the team. Well, he's not running the team. Mattingly's going to be giving the Chip Kelly signals and stuff for what to do. And this is going to be great. You can't make this stuff up. This team's in trouble.
I don't know if you heard Joe, but Joe said that, and I didn't hear this, but he said Rob Thompson said that to start spring training out, Schwarber's going to lead off. So I don't know. I don't know how much that's. But listen, I'm not going to take much of that. That's spring. They're probably going to try to work different lineup combinations.
No. But, we've been down the road with. Look, Turner is a leadoff hitter. Bottom line. That conversation. If Robbie's just doing it just to do it, that's maybe just to give Schwarber some swings up there. That's fine. But if he's looking to implement it,
that's going to be a problem.
We're fourth place. I'll bump us down because we can't go any further than that. I mean, so this team's in trouble, man. I mean, come on. You got this guy. He's on the spectrum of something, and then he's got like one eye, and he can't. They're just trying to hopefully get through the year. Robbie's going to get a severance pay. That's what you said, remember?
Yeah, I did say that. Yeah, he's just trying to get himself hooked up for. He's going to be up there this summer on an extended fishing trip. Yeah, I know.
Wait, he's going to do the Nick Castellanos dance all the way to the bank with the Kool-Aid smile.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, look. It's just this whole thing's a mess with the Phillies. With everything's going on from Castellanos all the way down to the Robbies or whatever. But it's just like I said, I'll go back. It's just funny. You can't speak up against these guys or you're out of here. Or you're benched. My fault. You're benched or you're out of here. And it's Dombrowski's he screwed this up by signing Castellanos and Schwarber at the same time. That screwed it up. Then he screwed it up by signing Schwarber instead of Pete Alonso. And now you got 2 years. He's going to be called Harper. All these people want to give Harper a pass. They all think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. This dude's been bitching about money for the last 2-3 years. Yep. Come on, man, and he ain't done nothing to even deserve it. I'm so glad I got a voice an opinion tonight. I will let you go. I gotta let you go,
man. We'll talk.
Yeah, I'll be a little more better.
No, you're fine, Patrick. Have a good night, man. Hey, it's a holiday weekend, man. I get it. All right, I'm not judging anybody. You do what you do, Patrick. You've earned a little credit here. All right. Listen, and it's interesting points that he brings up. Castellanos, the contract. I remember well coming out of the lockout or whatever it was, strike, the last thing in 22, right? Phillies had some holes to fill, and the big name free agents that year were Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos. They were the two highest free agents that were on the market. And then I think the Phillies, it was Schwarber, right, on the 4-year deal. And then like the next day they signed Castellanos. So it was reversed, but they were literally a day apart from each other after the lockout got solved. And they were down there in spring training. I wasn't bitching then. I ain't gonna lie to you. I know that in the back of my mind, I knew what he was assembling, which was one of the most unstructured, unbalanced lineups in baseball history. And I get what the plan was. We're just going to hit home runs to World Series glory. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I was 100% thinking that's a great idea, but the excitement of what that lineup was going to look like with all those mashers in it was very exciting. Right. I mean, the potential there. And of course, they ran that potential into caught some fire, and they ran it to a World Series in 22. But the stubbornness of not understanding over the past 4 years that they obviously need a little bit more structure to the lineup and a little bit more balance to that lineup was a hard sell to them. And maybe this is not the most orthodox way to go about structuring the lineup or balancing things by getting rid of Castellanos this way. Of course, you don't ever want to let a player walk away when you could potentially get compensation and you let him walk away free. That's bad business. But Dombrowski screwed that up by tipping his hand last year. And then all the stuff that came out this year. And in the offseason when he was tepid about Castellanos' future, and then straight up he's done when you go out and you sign a right fielder while Castellanos is still on the team, for God's sakes. I mean, I don't know how much more tipping of a hand you can do when you sign the guy's replacement while the guy is still on the team. So he screwed it up. I mean, did he have to act quickly to get Adolis Garcia? I don't know. Would we be really that better or worse off if they didn't get Garcia and ended up getting somebody else? I don't know about that either. But, the exit plan of getting rid of Castellanos has been a nightmare. But maybe in a way, this does balance the lineup. Not necessarily the replacing of Castellanos for Garcia, because they're pretty much the same type of hitter. I think Garcia is a little bit more disciplined than Castellanos. We'll see. Better defender, of course. But it's not because of Castellanos' glove that we're not World Series champions. Let's just kind of put it that way. But now the infusion of some young talent this year, at least 3, unprecedented number of young players, right? We got 3, and I'm not counting Miller as the third one. I'm counting Kemp as still a young player. And I'm counting Kemp, Painter, and Crawford as being, functional pieces to this roster. That's unprecedented in the Phillies since what, 2019, 2020? About infusing this much young talent into the already current lineup. And then hopefully, if all things go well, you get Miller at some point during the season. Maybe this is the way you do bring balance to the lineup, by going through all this nonsense. And again, I'm not saying that Dombrowski, he might have fell ass backwards into this, but it obviously on the surface doesn't look very good. The whole Castellanos divorce is Well, let's call it what it is. It's divorce, right? For those of us who've been through a divorce, you start yelling back and forth. You have disagreements. Then it's straight hate. Then you're just you're just waiting for the papers. All right, let me see what you're offering. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, let's negotiate. And that's what it was, man. It was a divorce. But yeah, I mean, it's terrible. Terrible. But are the Phillies better off without Nick Castellanos? I honestly think they are. Again, though, I would have liked to have seen some return for him. I'm not waxing poetic about Nick Castellanos' character. Obviously, we know what he was. He wasn't a good teammate. I read somewhere over the weekend, too, where during the playoffs, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, what run they were talking about, but Liam, his son, is taking BP while players are standing there waiting for him to get out of the cage. I'm sorry, man. Listen, there's a time and a place to bring your kid onto the field, and that's not it. All right, we got business to handle here. Let him wait until we're done, and then he can hit a couple of pitches. But I'm not. You're going to stand there, and first of all, why would Rob Thompson allow that to happen? And that's another thing. We're going to sit here and talk about the problem that Castellanos became. Well, the hell was Thompson doing? That's his job to stop that. And yes, that calls into question Rob Thompson's leadership ability, which is not something that it should be a surprise to anybody. And is that the right man to be leading us to a World Series, which I don't think he is. So I'm not calling into question about Castellanos' character. I don't care that they got rid of him. I wouldn't have cared, honestly, if they kept him, if he was the best option. But anytime you get rid of him and you don't get compensation, that's bad business, man. You screwed up. And you gave the Padres a $20 million baseball player for $780,000. You did the George Steinbrenner, David Justice to the A's in Moneyball. And the Padres are the A's. And you got Castellanos will be down there taking swings, and Billy Beane will walk up to him and he'll ask him if he's got a problem. And he'll say, no, I'm good. I'm here, but you can talk all that crap to the younger players, but you can't say those things to me. And then Billy Beane will say, well, Nick, Dave Dombrowski's paying me $20 million for you not to play for him. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they moneyballed the Phillies, I guess. I don't know. That sucks. That's what the biggest sticking point for all this to me is that they let this guy go and did not get compensated. If Schwarber is leading off this D, if Schwarber is leading off his lead, yeah, Papernick, no divorce yet waiting. That was the year with Liam in the batting cage. Yeah, man. I mean, again, I read that, man. I mean, there's a time and place to have your kid up there, not in between getting ready for a playoff game. I'm sorry. And I ain't going to miss that nonsense, that pandering crap either with Liam in the front row. Get the hell out of here, man. Get the hell out of here. Ain't my problem anymore. Ain't our problem anymore either. All right, we are at the top of the hour. It is about an hour in. Nick Castellanos has been the driving force of the conversation. We did mix in some Olympic hockey as, again, Team USA 3-0-0 to wrap up preliminary pool round play. They will now move on to the quarterfinals, essentially the first step in the medal round, right? They don't really have a name for it, but it is the medal round. It's the quarterfinals. Tuesday, want to say the winner between Latvia and Sweden will be the opponent for Team USA. And then it'll be off to the semis. And then, of course, the big one, potential gold medal matchup with Team Canada, who is also laying waste to their opponents in this tournament. So all systems are go for a USA-Canada gold medal showdown at some point at the end of the week. And everybody is waiting for that, and no one will accept anything. Wouldn't it be messed up if USA and Canada are playing the bronze medal game together? Well, it's not possible, but actually, it would be possible. They could play each other for the bronze medal. Suck, man. That would be such a letdown. But hopefully, it's gold medal on the line which I think will happen. I mean, there doesn't seem to be any competition in this tournament that can measure up to Team USA and Team Canada right now. This is not. It's almost. I was telling my family tonight. It's almost if they get to the finals with Canada, which they will. They should create the gold medal game into a 3-game series. That would probably be the best TV ratings you could have. A 3-game series for the gold medal game between USA and Canada. That'd be fun. But a 1-game series will be fun too. So that's coming up later in the week. Tuesday is when Team USA will hit the ice again. Tomorrow, full squad workouts begin. MLB wide. Friday is MLB preseason or spring training. Sorry. Saturday, the Phillies will kick off against the Blue Jays. Again, I almost forgot to mention it. ABS, the automatic balls and strike system, is now being implemented around Major League Baseball, both in spring and in regular season play. I want to remind everybody what ABS is. It's the automatic balls and strike system. Now, each team will have 3 challenges per game, and they can challenge 3 times. Now, the only players on the field that can initiate a challenge are the pitcher, the batter, and the catcher. They're the only 3 that can initiate a challenge. And it has to be verbally done. If you lose your challenge, then you lose the challenge, right? Meaning you go from 3 to 2. If you win the challenge, you maintain 3 for the game. So as long as you challenge and win, you'll stay at 3. But if you lose one, you lose one. I honestly believe it'll help. I do. And the one call, and I typically side obviously with the umpires, but I'm not perfect back there. I know I miss calls all the time. The Christopher Sanchez pitch in the playoffs against the Dodgers on that very critical, was it 3-2 count or 2-2 count late in the game, 7th inning? The one that really got him taken out of the game. Right before they tied it, I believe it was. That was a strike. It was a strike all day long, and the umpire completely blew it. That would have been a perfect time to initiate an ABS challenge, and that might have changed the fate of that game. So that for those types of situations, I 100% agree that ABS should be implemented. And I know there's actually a lot of pitchers around the league are saying, I'm not using it. I'm not calling. I'm not going to challenge anything. The hell with it. But they say that now. We'll see when the heat's on that they don't. But that's what ABS will be. And with that, again, I want to make this very clear. Officially from Major League Baseball, as of now, no more of that stupid strike zone box will be on TV graphics going forward. Yep. Nope. The worst invention since the glowing puck to hit TV is finally going away. I don't know how they're going to, I mean, that's great. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Go back to watching baseball the old friggin' fashioned way, the way we used to do it when we were kids. All right. If you have a problem with it, just sit behind the umpire then. But that box created so many problems. And, I actually had a certain, and I'm actually torn because I would like that box to remain for 1 year. This year, I would like the box to remain because I want people to see how wrong that box was. Yes. So with that being said, I would like to see that box stay for 1 more year. So people, these armchair umpires, these armchair fanatic fans who think they know what they're talking about could see how wrong that box was to the actual strike zone. So I guess in a lot of ways, I'm sad that they're taking it away because I want people to see how friggin' misled they were by that propaganda tool. But that's coming our way. Should be the gold medal team. I think they're better than Canada. They should win gold again. That's a really strong program. The girls, really strong program. I think they should win the medal, the gold. All right, let's get to the other night segment. All right, the other night segment tonight, we are continuing our marathon run on finishing up Philly Spotlight players for 2026. We are in the home stretch of players. We have about 3 or 4 left. We should finish them this week, just in time for me to transition completely to the NHL draft before we have to transition to the MLB draft and then transition to Philly's prospect players. But we are going to continue down the road of Philly prospect players, or not prospect, but spotlight players, players that I feel are going to be pivotal in the Phillies' chances in 2026. And we go with the latest edition of the Phillies, the return of JT Realmuto. That's right. The man who was brought back because they couldn't land Bo Bichette. A no-brainer here, obviously, to bring him back. Not because I'm a great admirer of JT Realmuto. Would have loved to have saved that money in another facet of the team. But due to some mismanaging by Dave Dombrowski, we don't have any catching prospects that are anywhere near MLB ready. And to be honest with you, we don't really have many good catching prospects. We have 3 that are So it was a no-brainer that they had to bring back JT in order to continue the balance of competitive balance. Say what you want about his offensive decline, which is a real thing. But his defense is still pretty good. Right. And he does call a really good game. And yeah, I think I agree with a lot of people who believe that JT Realmuto, when he does hang him up, will make a pretty damn good coach at some point, or manager. But here is his 2025 stats: 138 games, finished with a very healthy 282 batting average, 27 homers, and drove in 84 runs, 76 runs scored, OPS of 835, and did steal 16 bases. Not a bad season, right? But where JT lacks is where a lot of the Phillies big boppers lack, and that is in the playoffs. He completely disappears in the playoffs, and he's completely disappeared in the playoffs now for, I think, every season he's been a Philly, with the exception of the 2022 season. He's been a real non-factor in playoff baseball, but he's a solid member of the back end of the order. I think 5 or 6 is the appropriate spot to put JT. And again, it was a no-brainer that he was brought back. There was just no other options available for JT, or there was no other options available for the Phillies at this point. So, back on a 3-year deal, and for at least the next 3 years, will be the man behind the mask, as JT Realmuto will be back. And yes, he will be relied upon yet again, both in his stewardship of a very young back end of the rotation with Andrew Painter, and piloting a rotation that is a little banged up to begin the season, and hopefully provide some stability at the middle point of the lineup. I think in a perfect world, he should be batting 6th, but 5th. Again, in my lineup, Turner, Bohm, Harper, Schwarber, Realmuto, Garcia, Realmuto, 5th, 6th there, 7, 8, 9. 5 or 6 is where I would put JT. But he scraped out a pretty decent offensive season. He just disappeared for very long stretches last season. And then he got hot, would disappear for long stretches, would get hot, and then completely vanished in the playoffs, like he has been doing over the past few seasons. But there was no other better option out there for the Phillies at catching, due to some bad trades that the team has made over the past few years. JT's back, and we're going to need him. So there you have your Philly Spotlight Player of the Night, JT Realmuto. And let's go to Steve. Joins us on the line. Steve, what's up?
Nothing much. How do you feel about Castellanos that was released by the Phils and signed with the Padres?
Yeah, we've been talking about that. With all the drama, and you can sit here and I'll entertain both sides of the story. He was wrong. Phillies were right. Phillies were wrong. He was right. Whatever. The bottom line for me, Steve, is that we let him go for nothing. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, that is the bottom line, but for what he did, it was unexcusable, 100%. And he's been very streaky.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes he will hit, sometimes he won't. And what he said that sorry about having a beer in the dugout. Okay, well, thank you for admitting that. We all didn't know that you had a beer in the dugout. And it's like, okay, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm glad that he's gone. I'm really am.
Now, listen, here's the thing about that beer thing. Him going into the locker room and bringing a beer into the dugout, that was a grown man temper tantrum, right? He was mad that he got thrown out of the game or taken out of the game, whatever. So he went into the dugout to do something that he knew he shouldn't be doing. So he's going to throw a tantrum like a little child, and that's a grown man tantrum. And then they stopped him from making a real big mistake by actually drinking the thing. You're right. I'm not going to, again, I'm not defending him. He's an arrogant person who obviously has come to light that he didn't even want to come here in the first place, right? He asked his management team, "Are you sure? Is there any other team out there that doesn't want to?" No? Okay, well, I guess I'll take the money there. So yeah, he's arrogant. And you're right. We're probably better off without him. We are. I'll agree to that. But again, they couldn't. Dave Dombrowski managed this whole thing terribly, and they let him walk away. San Diego got $20 million. They're paying 19 some odd dollars of his 19 million in change of his contract this year, while the Padres are paying $780,000 and laughing the whole way. So that's what pisses me off, is that we got nothing from him.
Yeah, I know, but it is what it is, to be honest. They're just paying Castellanos minimum wage. It's like, okay, so you want to pay minimum wage? I didn't know that existed in baseball now.
Well, there's a league veteran minimum for players in Castellanos' situation when they have a current contract that they were not the reason why they're no longer playing for that team. So this is by the CBA. This is what happens. So, yeah, there's a veteran league minimum that vets get paid.
So how are you going to feel about the new ABS that's going to be happening?
Well, I was just talking about that. I don't know if you heard, but listen, I'm a Steve. I love baseball. Baseball to me, it's a game that's completely driven by human beings, right? And the human factor of error, right? I get it, all right? And yes, do you want to get all the calls right? 100%. But we don't live in that kind of world, and we'll never live in. I don't care how much AI develops, we'll never live in that kind of world. But there are a lot of valid conversations about getting calls right, and I think by not providing any options is probably not the right answer. So providing an option, which is ABS, and I used the Chris Sanchez ball call that was a strike in the playoffs last year that really turned the tide of that game. If they would have called that a strike, which they should have, it was right there on the inside corner. That should have been a strike. That inning is over. Dodgers don't tie it. Maybe we win that game and we go on and potentially win game 5, right? So in a situation like that, you want to make sure you get the call correct. So yes, I like the concept of it. I like the fact that you get 3 challenges and only the catcher, batter, and pitcher can initiate. You get the call wrong, you lose that challenge. You get it right, you maintain the challenge, whatever. And I also like the other effects, Steve. I don't know if you're aware of this, and I just went on a rant about this. No more of this stupid box that we'll be able to see on TV. They're getting rid of that because of ABS. So that's going away. Thank God.
Oh, thank God. Sometimes I do like a box in the middle, but
no, but it's not. Now, I said I actually would like for the box to stay for one more year because I want to see how wrong people have been by using that as a gauge of the strike zone.
Yeah, but we will definitely see what happens. We definitely will.
Yeah.
But another thing is how do you feel about these picks that the 76ers got without really not trading for anybody in particular?
Well, that's Daryl Morey has saved his skin here because he's been drafting so well lately, and I guess people are he's not passing. I don't think the Sixers were going to be a legitimate championship contender, even if they were to break the bank and try to bring somebody here to push them over the edge. I don't think they are. So plussing up on some assets. Am I saying he's punting towards next year? No, but I think he's tipping his hand that, I'm going to go all in the draft next year, or potentially move up in the draft by setting some of these assets or trade these assets to teams for some players over the summer. I think he's comfortable where they are now, and he's comfortable for the short term in the future. And to me, that's not a championship this year. Maybe I see them making the playoffs, probably not even getting out of the first round. If they do, they definitely won't get out of the second round. But
the same thing like what the Phillies did in October. They will a first round exit, and the 76ers will be the exact same thing. They will.
I think the plan is to get young, I guess.
Yeah, with what? Joel Embiid that keeps having all these injury managements now? It's like makes perfectly no sense.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to have to solve the Joel Embiid, Paul George. One of them two can't be back next year. Probably Paul George will have to get moved. They can't bring both of them back. They got to get younger, but they can't, kill themselves at the same point. But I don't see Paul George. I don't even know why he's here anyway, honestly. But they can't come back with him next year.
No, they just can't. And the finals will begin the second half of the season in about 2 weeks after the Olympics. Let's really hope that the finals will someone make the playoffs. I'm hoping, but I'm not really seeing them making the playoffs again because they just haven't been consistent over any games.
Steve, have you been watching USA hockey? Have you been watching Olympic
hockey? Yes, I have.
So I don't know about you, but when I've been watching, I've watched it. I've watched a lot of it. When I see them, the way they move, the way those players play, the way they can anticipate each other's movements, and the way they don't hesitate, I've forgotten how smooth and how good hockey can be because of watching what the Flyers have been putting on the ice for the last 5-10 years. And watching a product like Team USA makes me understand how far away we are from getting anything on the ice that resembles a Stanley Cup contender. And that's how I feel. Again, I'm not asking for, I would love to have a Team USA Flyers team, Austin Matthews, the Chuck brothers, the Hughes brothers. Oh yeah, bring them all. I know that ain't possible, but those players play in other places around the NHL. Until we get one or two of those guys on the Flyers, we are light years away from being any kind of contender. I think the Flyers should be sellers 100% at the deadline again. We're just not there. And yes, they've been a great story. They were a great story 2 years ago, but they're the same team they were 2 years ago. So we got to keep building assets, and we got to keep doing that, because right now the free agency is not going to be the way they thought it was going to be this summer, because they extended the cap. A lot of these top centers have signed with their teams already, so that's dried up. The only way the Flyers are going to get better is to continue to gather draft assets, hopefully draft better, and make trades. But I think in season at the deadline, you trade, you sell, and then maybe make some trades this summer.
Yeah, let's see. I'm being honest. Let's really see. And I hope you didn't watch the Super Bowl halftime show with the Bad Bunny situation.
I fell asleep.
Oh, thank God.
I slept right through it. I fell asleep midway through the second quarter, woke up at the third quarter kickoff. I was like, I missed the whole thing.
That's good, because he was speaking Spanish the whole entire time.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Well, so with the Eagles free agency coming up very soon, who do you think the Eagles will definitely be signed, and will that go?
See, that's a great question, and we are so who they should resign.
Yes.
I mean, there's 23 of them, and there's some pretty big names on that list. Dallas is obviously a big name. They gotta. I don't know. I ain't gonna lie to you. If you were to ask, I'm concerned that the cap and the way it's being managed, and this kicking the can down the road theory of Howie Roseman is finally starting to come back and bite us on the ass a little bit. And now we're starting to feel that pressure, and we're going to start seeing good players walk away. if they could re-sign Dallas Goedert, great, but he's going to want big money, and I don't want to pay him big money. They got to go out and draft a tight end. I'm not. I don't know. Honestly, I could be okay if they didn't sign anybody and went a whole new direction on some of those key positions that they need to fill, especially the draft and bringing in outside free agents. Is that what they're going to do? Because they've sort of kind of like indicated that that's how they're going about coaching now. They're trying a whole different philosophy. So I don't know, Steve. That's a great question, man. I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, we all know. Well, let me let you go so you can continue on with the show. Talk to you later.
Steve, take care, man. Don't be a stranger, okay?
All
right, Steve. Yeah, I honestly, and have I looked? Yeah, I've looked, and there's some intriguing names out there. There's some real intriguing names. Dallas Goedert is probably the biggest name that intrigues me, not by the value of the player, but the position he plays. We don't have it. We currently don't have any goddamn tight ends on the roster. They're all free agents. I mean, how does that happen? How does that friggin' happen, man? So, we've spent so much time and energy with the Eagles talking about coaches, talking about the trades of Dallas Goedert. We have 20. Let me be very clear. We have 20 free agents heading into 2026. Dallas Goedert, Reed Blankenship, Jalen Phillips, Ojulari, Dotson, Graham, Mann, Uche, Adoree Jackson, Kyle Granson, Matt Pryor, Fred Johnson, A.J. Dillon, Nakobe Dean, Okanoro, Epps, Toth, Van Sumeren, Howell, Calcaterra. I mean, you can make an argument for re-signing any one of these guys, because a lot of these guys, if not all of them, were significant members of the 2025 Eagles, with the exception of Ben Van Sumeren, who tore his ACL in the opening kickoff of game 1, and Sam Howell, who maybe has to be re-signed in order to actually Van Sumeren's are RFA, so he'll be back. But Sam Howell, maybe they had to re-sign him because you trade Tanner McKee. I mean, you can make an argument that they have to re-sign every single one of these players. Yes, you should re-sign Dallas Goedert, but no, you're not going to want to pay the money he's going to want for a 31-year-old tight end who, with the exception of last season, has had injury issues. Reed Blankenship, I don't know where the love affair with this guy is. I think he's a third stringer, second string, definitely strong second string guy. He's going to want to get paid. Jalen Phillips, do you re-sign him because out of principle, because you sent draft capital in order to get him during the season? He only had 5 sacks total last year. Most of them came as an Eagle, though. Is he the edge rusher of the future for this team? Ojulari played significant time. Granted, I mean, not real significant time, but he was a part of the rotation. Jahan Dotson was completely irrelevant on this football team. But who are you looking at as your new WR3? Anais Smith and the other guy? I don't even know his name. Johnny Wilson? Is that his name? John Wilson or something like that? Brandon Graham, come on. Let old man Graham go. Braden Mann, yeah, we need a punter. I think we're going to have to re-sign him. Uche, again, another edge rusher who wasn't great, but, Adoree Jackson. I hear people saying they should keep him. Why? Was Adoree Jackson? Yeah, okay. Maybe, did he get better as the season progressed? Maybe. But is he the answer? Is CB too? Kyle Granson. Oh, he's a tight end that we don't have. Matt Pryor. The offensive line is a big question. Fred Johnson. The offensive line is a big question. Are these players you want to retread back, or do you want to go a whole other direction? A.J. Dillon. No. Nakobe Dean, another intriguing name. When he's healthy, there's no question that Nakobe Dean is a game-changing linebacker / hybrid edge rusher. But I preference the words when healthy. Do you want to lock him down to a big-time contract with his injury issues? It becomes a matter of dollars and cents, right? Epps, Toth, Van Sumeren, Howell. So listen, there's arguments to be made about re-signing most of these guys, and there's arguments to be made about letting them all go and going a whole other direction with these with other players. Better value, drafting. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. All right, let's go to our final segment of the night. All good questions, though. Our final segment of the night, my favorite. Yep. This is MattyB's card review. And last week, as we've talked about for months, weeks, days leading up to it, was the release of the 2026 Top Series 1 baseball cards. And I was one of the first customers. I don't really know if I was, but I know I bought cards on the release day. And I bought cards a couple of times since then. And my wife actually bought me some cards for my for Valentine's Day. So to answer my question from earlier on, yes, men do get presents on Valentine's Day. And I pulled this card from one of those packs. And yes, we're going to continue on with the 22. I think I'm sort of fixated with them right now. I think the last two card reviews were Series 1 2026 cards. I'm going to keep the theme going tonight because I pulled a very interesting card this weekend, and I want to talk about it. And let's get it up on the screen for you right now. It is the 2026 Bryce Harper Profiles by Ken Griffey Jr. card, but it's not this card. Okay, it is a variant of this card, meaning that this is the base card. I have a variant of this base card. I have the blue foil 30 of 150 serial numbered version. Now you're asking, well, MattyB, why aren't you showing us that card? Because it doesn't exist in any database right now. Is that new? It exists in print, but not in picture form. So it is one of the more, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a rare card. It's not. But as far as the being found so far this season, it is. It's a rare card. So it's hard to put a price on this, but this card right here, as you're looking at it, there has been a sale of this card already for about $4, ungraded. So the Profiles by Ken Griffey, Ken Griffey Jr. Is an insert that they're using this year. There's going to be a whole bunch of players that are going to have these profile cards. This is Bryce Harper's base card that you're looking at. I'm about to show you the blue foil version of this card that I pulled. And again, this is the card I'm about to show you is 30 out of 150 serial numbered. So definitely based on the player, based on the foil, and based on the serial number, it'll be quite a bit more than $4. And I'm, obviously don't have a market for it. I don't have a price fit for it right now. I'm just sort of sitting on it and watching the market kind of go. I have an idea of what I would like to list the card I'm about to show you as. But as far as this card goes and this sort of design, this profile type of thing that they're doing, I think it's pretty cool. Right now you're looking at a Hall of Fame pitcher or a Hall of Fame player that isn't Ken Griffey Jr. and a potential Hall of Fame player. And Bryce Harper featured on the same card. I do like what they're doing with these profiles. Again, there's going to be a whole bunch of players profiled on these cards this year. And this is the Bryce Harper one. It's a pretty cool concept. And let me take this down and I'll show you the actual card that I have. This is the card I have. It's the blue foil version of it. And then you can see the serial number down there in the lower left-hand side near my finger. 30 of 150. This is the back of it. Again, profile card of Bryce Harper. Blue foil, 30 of 150. A pretty nice find early on in the 2026 Topps Series 1 release for me. And maybe it had something to do with my wife buying them for me for Valentine's Day. So pretty cool looking card. I told you I like the idea, the concept around these profile cards. There's a couple other cards I've already pulled, profile variants. There's a red foil version of this card that has already been pulled that's up there on a database. And it's serial numbered, I think, 1 of 99. So there's a red foil variant of this as well. But this is the only blue one that I've seen. I haven't seen any pictures of the blue one yet on any database, meaning they haven't been found yet to be put up there. But they have a listing for it, but no picture for it. So this is the blue foil Bryce Harper Profiles by Ken Griffey. Topps Series 1 2026. Card number TP-19. There you go. Good a good early find for me in the 2026 card collecting season. So there you have it. That is our card review of the night. And that is going to take us to an end of another fun-filled episode of the program. I want to thank everybody for being part of us tonight. Good to be back for another week. Tomorrow, we're going to get probably into our position group storylines segment. We'll talk about the wide receivers for the Eagles and how they did and what were some of the top stories around the Eagle wide receivers this past season. Probably also continue on with our Phillies talk, as tomorrow we'll have maybe footage of team workouts. Teams will report in earnest tomorrow, everybody around Major League Baseball. It'll be an off day for Team USA as they prepare for the quarterfinals on Tuesday. And we'll see what else. I'm sure something will shake loose in this town. But we'll be back tomorrow at 9. Remember all the great programming on the network this week. And here it is one more time. Tomorrow you'll have the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight program and me. And then I'll kind of take the week as it comes. So I want to thank everybody for being part of a great show tonight. I hope you guys are enjoying your holiday weekend. I know a lot of you have off tomorrow. And I hope you enjoy your day off. And I hope you've enjoyed your Valentine's Day and whatnot. It's warming up around here. It was like 30 at one point today, which was nice. Not bit from below zero. And as Joe Hale indicated, I am feeling a lot better. I'm on the other end of what was dogging me last week. Boy, that was a nasty little cold that hit me for a day or two. Slept a lot earlier in the weekend, but feeling much better. So that's good news. And we'll talk again tomorrow. So until then, you guys have a great night. Enjoy your final day off tomorrow if that applies to you. If not, enjoy your first day back at work. I'm out of here.